Happy Wednesday, everyone. Welcome to Alicyn's Wonderland. This is a little preview of what we're going to be talking about tonight. I'm sure you guys hear this is the main title theme of the one and only Simpsons. Because we have special guest Eric Lopez coming on the show tonight. Eric Lopez is a voice actor. His credits are numerous, but one recent credit to note is Eric is the new voice of Bumblebee Man on The Simpsons, which is super, super exciting. I just want to give a shout out to everybody that's joining live. Sam Bravo, good to see you. Jeremy, got some new faces. Matthew David Red, good to see you again. And Anna Gristo. You guys, I'm so excited to welcome Eric Lopez to the show tonight. Eric is a great friend, as well as an incredibly versatile and talented voice actor. I'm going to go ahead and welcome him onto the show, and feel free to chime in to the question box at the bottom if you guys have questions for Eric. We're going to go ahead and add Eric right now. Here he is. Welcome, you guys, the one and only Eric Lopez. Let's see, did that work? Hi, Brickman Mosaic Art. I'm sorry, I haven't had a chance to check out your link yet. It's Jeffrey. Oh, sorry, Jeffrey. I'm so sorry. You guys, welcome Eric Lopez to Alicyn's Wonderland. Eric, it's so good to see you.
Hey, it's good to see you too. Thanks for having me. It's good to finally be here.
It's so good to see you. I haven't seen you since our little walk around North Hollywood Park a couple months ago.
Which was awesome, by the way.
So awesome.
And I apologize for huffing and puffing. It was like the first time I'd taken a walk in the whole pandemic. Oh my God, I was so embarrassed. You're like all just briskly walking. I'm all... I was like, I hope she doesn't hear me wheezing.
We're going to get those lungs pumping, right? You know? I know you use your lungs a lot.
Yeah, I'm back into it now. I'm working out again. I'm getting strong.
You getting the bod on fleek?
I'm getting it on fleek. Gotta look good for the mic, for the booth.
And for interviews like this. Have you been doing a lot of interviews? I mean, I read a couple online since you took over as Bumblebee Man.
Just that one. I actually haven't really done many. I've done podcast stuff in the past, but I've never done a live interview.
Yeah,
which is pretty crazy. So I'm like, I hope I don't say anything. I hope I don't get canceled. No, I don't.
Nobody's going to cancel you on here. I promise. You guys, we promise. Reassure Eric for me that this is a fun and safe forum for him to speak candidly. Eric, it's so good to see you. I mean, obviously, I mean, you have a lot of different projects on the table, so many fun things, especially in the past couple of years. I'm incredibly impressed.
I forgot to turn this on. Let me turn this on real quick. Sorry. There we go. Look at that.
Hey.
There we go.
Yeah. It's IGTV does this weird thing where it zooms in really quick, but
yeah. Am I framed right? I mean, I know there's a little.
It's fine. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I can see you good. So I know that a lot of people are curious to hear about The Simpsons, and I do want to definitely get into that, but I kind of want to start at the beginning because I'm curious how you got involved in voice acting from the get-go.
Oh, yeah, that's actually a funny story, a fun story.
And funny.
Funny and fun. Well, I guess all life is funny and fun when it works out, right?
Not half the time.
I was actually doing stand-up. I came out here a long time ago.
And where were you from?
Man. I'm originally from Arizona. Born in Kingman, Arizona. And then I moved to Phoenix, moved to Mesa, lived with my brother for a few years, took some classes. I was going to college, sort of. It wasn't real college. I was taking community college classes. Because, I mean, I knew when I was a kid that I always wanted to be an actor.
Yeah.
And I was always, like, an artist, too, an illustrator. So I'm like, you know, like, you always have, like, options. Like, this is what I really want to do, but this is what I will do if I have to, you know, fall back on it because, like, this is what I do anyways. So, like, I knew I always wanted to be an actor. I knew I wanted to be an actor since junior high. and I was in theater class in junior high, and I freaking loved it. It was the best thing ever.
Yeah.
The biggest highs, you know, and not many lows, because you know, parents are supportive. You're a kid, no one's gonna crap on you when you're on stage in junior high. But and so I knew then that I wanted to be an actor, and so I was like, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna be an actor. And I said it my whole life. And then getting later in high school and stuff,
yeah,
because of my artwork, I was like, oh, you know, I could be an artist too. I could do both. And I was like, and I was really into. I've always been into animation, so I was like, and I was a huge Pixar fan. I am a huge Pixar fan, I should say. So I was like, man, I saw like a documentary on it. I was like, man, I'll go to the Art Institute in San Francisco and go to school there. And then I saw the price tag. I was like, ooh, no, maybe. My mom is awesome though. She's like supportive of everything I wanted to do. Like my mom, by the way, is the best. I was in high school, and she offered to drive me to Vegas to do stand-up. And I did. This is before I even knew I wanted to be a stand-up comedian.
From Arizona?
Like, yeah, and she's like, oh,
wow.
it's like we were like, I grew up like 2.5 hours from Vegas. Yeah. So she's like, I'll drive you to Vegas. You want to do stand-up? And I was like, I just want to be an actor. Not knowing that I would end up being a stand-up. I was like, geez. So she knew. I mean, yeah, and I should have taken her up on that. I wish I kind of would have now. Because, you know, you hear about Chappelle and all these people starting out all young. Man, I should have did that. But yeah, so and later on in high school, you know, when doubt starts to seep in, you're like, man, I need a sure thing to fall back on. Yeah. Which and in computer animation isn't a sure thing. It's like the same thing. You're a contract, you know, independent contractor, job to job. It's like being an actor, sort of, with way more longer hours, I'm sure. Yeah. So when I moved to Arizona, I took some. I started off just taking art classes, tons of art classes. That's what I'm proud of myself now. Like I'm like, man, I wasted 5 years out in Arizona after high school when I should have just came out here. But then I think about it, I'm like, no, because everything I did was adding to what, you know, to my life now. Like it was enriching everything. Like I took art classes, and I still use all those principles that I learned. I took some computer animation modeling classes, which basically made the decision for me. I'm like, this is way too hard. I'm not good at these like commands that you need to learn. I'm like, looks like I'm gonna be an actor. So then, like right after that, so I did stand up once in Arizona. I killed, and I was like, this is it, man. I'm leaving. And I left like a couple months later. Came out in October of that year, and
that's so
been
funny.
here ever since.
My best stand-up comedy show ever was also in Arizona.
Really? Yeah. I mean, there's some good comedians there.
It's a good crowd. Yeah.
You gotta have a good sense of humor growing up in Arizona. So it's very hot. So some crazy people.
Did you take a writing class, or you just got up in an open mic one day?
No, I mean, I just basically it was basically just me doing impressions and then talking about some of my nuttier family members. So it was all just stuff that I do anyways, you know. I mean, growing up, I always just did impressions. And so I was like, oh, let's do some impressions. It was 5 minutes. You only get 5 minutes. So I was like, I'll just do an impression of Sean Connery, and I'll do a couple of my uncles all drunk, and then I'll, you know, and I'll do that. And it worked. I did good. And then I moved out here, and it's been going good. I stopped doing stand-up after a while, though, because I did get kind of burnt out on it because I wasn't getting any stage time. And so and I kind of wish I wouldn't have. I kind of wish I would have stuck with it. I'm back. I mean, I'm going back, and I've never stopped writing, but I still perform whenever I can.
Oh, really?
Before the pandemic, I was going up pretty often, and then the pandemic hit. And I was like, oh man, it's throwing a wrench in my plans. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's definitely fun. I did miss it for the longest time.
Yeah. So, do you see more stand-up comedy in your future?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I've been putting my act together. I got a lot of material. It just needs to be, you know, I need to start getting up again and whittling it down. And it seems a little safe now. A lot of my buddies are going back up and doing stand-up. So I'm like, maybe it's safe. I don't know. But hopefully it's safe.
I went to go see my first stand-up show a couple weeks ago. It was really fun to just be out and be in the crowd.
Yeah. I mean, I miss it. My brother was in town this last weekend, and we went to we were at the Third Street Promenade, and it felt kind of weird, but because I hadn't been there during the pandemic,
Yeah.
it sort of was like there was a bit of like, oh, this is just normal. This is how it's always like, because I didn't see it when it wasn't normal. So it felt, yeah, it was weird. It was like because we weren't wearing masks, and nobody was wearing masks. I'm like, okay, I guess we're back.
Here we are. The ever-changing guidelines from the city.
Yeah, it's weird. It's really weird.
Yeah,
but I respect everybody's opinion. Everybody's right to do what they want. You know.
How has the pandemic affected you on a personal level? By the way, Elle Newland,
at home recording, is that what you mean? Like at home recording and stuff?
Yeah. Oh, by the way, Elle Newland says she loves how you framed your video.
Oh, thank you, Elle. I called her. I actually called her for advice. I'm like, how did you frame your video? And she told me, and I was like, yeah, just get your phone and cool. I was like, all right, cool. I had a little ring light and stuff. So thank you, Elle, if you're still here. Thank you. But to be honest with you, the pandemic, the shutdown, the lockdown.
Yeah.
I liked it. I'm an introvert. I'm extrovert when I'm out. Like, it's weird. It's a weird balance. I think I'm a very balanced person. When I'm home, I love being home. I love and like I said, I'm sketching all the time. I'm writing all the time.
I mean, you cook a lot also.
Yeah, I cook. Yeah, that's how got really good at making pizza in the pandemic and trying out stuff. I make homemade pretzels now. It's like,
wow.
Yeah, so I learned a lot of good cooking, and I realized that like it's just basically steps. It's like putting together some IKEA furniture. You get the recipe. You put it together, you make it, and you try not. It's timing. You don't overcook anything. Yeah. You don't undercook it, and it comes out. You're like, well, this is like the restaurant. It's like it's crazy.
So pandemic hit. Now, primarily, I would see you. We have the same agent for anybody that's wondering, and so I would see you. You would do a lot of your auditions at the agency with the booth directors. Now, when the pandemic hit, did you have to build up your home studio, or was your home studio already ready to go?
Luckily, we have a mutual friend, Kif, right? Kif Van Inhuvel.
Yes.
Awesome dude. That guy, him and Scott White are like my VO like Jedis. Any questions I have, they're always there to answer it for me and help me out. And Kif, actually, before the pandemic hit, Kif turned me on to this Rode NT USB mic. And I was like, oh, it's cool. It was super affordable. Yeah. And like an app, which apps to use to record, which apps to use to edit. And so I started doing it from home because like gas was getting crazy, gas prices were getting crazy, and it's just like I was always showing up late, to the office, to a long hike trek from the valley over to the west side. Yeah. And so I was like, man, I need to find a way to record at home, and it's just like one line for a commercial, or something. Like I need because I love going in. Don't get me wrong, I loved going in. I mean, just like that's how I met you. That's how I met some of my best friends now, and you get to hang out with celebrities and stuff, and then we just shoot the stuff and just talk. And can you cuss on this?
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay, you just shoot the shit with celebrities, and you hang out, and you're talking stuff, you're talking shit, and it's awesome. But like, so that was for the long waits, and I met so many cool people at CSD. I met so many awesome people, and I'm so grateful for it. So I did love going in, and but for those little things, or when I had a job and I didn't have the time I didn't want to go all the way out and then have to come back. Yeah. And so I needed a way to record at home. Yeah. And Kif and Scott helped me out a lot. They gave me a lot of advice. And so I took this little walk-in closet and I just padded it up a little bit and put some blankets up, and it sounds good. All these studios that I record with now from here, when I do have to record from home, they're like, got a good room, man. It's quiet. It's nice. I'm like, awesome. So like I got into that rhythm of recording from home. Oh, sorry. No, go ahead.
Are you still on your USB mic, or did you upgrade your microphone?
I am, but it's just for auditioning. And some because some sessions will send out a mic. Like I just booked a show for Nickelodeon, and they send out a mic. But it's a USB mic. They sent out a USB mic. It was crazy. So, but it's a good one. Yeah. So I'm still on that. But yeah, my Scott's like, yeah, dude, you got to step your game up. Like, yeah, there's no excuse for me not to buy it.
Do you? Really, Eric, with how much you're booking these days? I don't know what you do.
Well, I mean, I should. It's. Oh, sorry, I bumped my camera. It would be. I think it would be bad if. I think it would be kind of a jerk move if I'm working and I'm like, I don't need a better mic. You take what you get. That's mean. I should get a better mic just in case.
Hey, do you know who I am? Eric Lopez. Hey,
Do you know who
curious,
I
are you
am?
just Eric
No.
Lopez the
Good. I didn't
first?
think you did.
Are you Eric Lopez the first, or
No.
according to SAG,
Oh, I'm Eric Lopez too.
Eric Lopez too?
And
That's
for
pretty good.
anybody who's on right now, I'm not Cuban. They took this other guy's profile and they just blended it with mine. It's like born in like 1960 something.
78.
So you're like, oh, like I walked into a session one time. I was like, well, man, you look good for 60. I'm like, that's not me. Yeah, I mean, Eric Lopez is like John Smith of, it's like the Mexican John Smith. There's so many Eric Lopez's out there. So like, yeah, so I was actually born in Kingman, Arizona, and I'm Mexican American, and yeah, so that's someone needs to help me, change that on IMDb or
Aw.
whatever.
Come on, fans, get to it. Well, and so you're a Mexican American as well as Bumblebee Man is Mexican American. And you had mentioned in one of your articles that he's actually based on a Mexican celebrity.
Yeah, he's based on this character Chapulín Colorado. He's like this Chespirito guy actor. He's a Mexican comedian. He's hilarious. He's huge. He was huge. All my family was all huge fans of him. Oh, Bill. I just want to say hi to Bill. Bill, my guy I grew up with, Bill Collins. Bill, what's up, man? I had to say hi. Yeah, so he's a really funny guy and they really funny comedian, physical comedian, like slapstick guy. And yeah, so I totally knew who he was. Like when I saw him on The Simpsons, like, oh, that's that one. That's that comedian. Yeah, so he's based on that guy. Which sucks. It kind of sucks that they didn't get the real guy to play him originally because he just passed away I think a year or two ago.
Aw.
Yeah.
So then how did it come about that you ended up scoring that job?
So that was they put out an audition for it. I'm assuming it's because all the backlash for there was like a whole documentary on Apu and and people are just like they're saying
And then in 2020, The Simpsons came out and said they were going to have no non-white actors play non-white roles.
Yeah, so they started to they're like, oh, let's start casting for the right ethnicities, and so I got I thought it was for like some little spot. Like, no, I didn't think it was for the TV show. I was like, oh, there's no way. This is Hank Azaria's thing, man. They're not gonna give me this. So they put out this audition for it, and I got it. Oh gosh, and I don't know if I told anybody this publicly. I don't even know if I said this in the other interview, but I almost passed because I had so much other stuff to get done, right?
Yeah.
I had like a ton of auditions. I think I had a session, and I was like, I was like, I'm not gonna get this thing. I was like, why am I gonna read? I don't even know if I can do that voice.
Yeah.
If I can match Hank's voice. And so I was like, I don't even know if I want to read for this. I'm like, you know what? Just knock it out. Just knock it out. Get it done, and just send it. And I did, and then I found out it was for the show, and they were, trying to keep this character alive without, creating any controversy, and just doing the right thing generally, I guess. And I was
worked on Simpsons before, right?
Yeah, CSD we do the Walla Group, the background stuff for the Simpsons. So I was doing that.
So did they already knew you
over the years? Yeah, so I knew some of the team over there. And I think that helped. I think they're like, oh, well, here's a guy we know. We like him already. And they said I got the closest out of all the auditions. So I was like, so they booked me, and I was like shocked when our agent Pat Brady called, and I was like, whoa, man, it was weird. It felt like it was like a wash of like dream state. Just, you know what I mean? It was like the reverse of when you find out something bad and you feel numb. It's like the reverse of that, but in the good way. So it was weird, and I was like, it was funny because I'd been in there so many times, and like I'd done countless sessions of the other stuff, but I felt like I booked my first job ever again. It was weird, like I think I know I was I took my phone and I was like documenting everything. Like, oh, this is me driving on the lot. This is me getting, because the first time I ever got to park in the actual space, the talent
Sure.
space, you know. So I got
Yeah.
to park in the talent space. I took a picture of my beat up car in the talent space. You know, like,
Hank Azaria doesn't drive your beat up car.
but I, you know, I like it. I like my beat up car. It gets me. There's so many people ding your car here. I'm never buying new. I'm just driving my beat up car everywhere. Let people ding it all they want. You know, buy a nice car for the, you know, for when I can valet.
Yeah.
But yeah, it
Wow.
was awesome. It was so much fun. It was, and they're quick sessions. They're quick. You know, you go in there, you do a couple. But it was just, there's so much weight, so much gravity to it. I'm like, wow, man, this is huge. And, yeah. Every time I go in there, it's like going in for the first time. It feels like just so grateful to be there. It's crazy.
Do you
Yeah.
get the opportunity to work with any of the other voice actors?
Sadly, no, because it started like
Yeah.
I think the first time I did it was, I think it was during the lockdown. I think
Yeah.
the first session was during the lockdown. Yeah, it was. I went in masked up and everything, so I haven't got to like meet to really hang with any other actors or anything, or take a picture. I love
Or
taking
go to
pictures.
the party.
Go to
The
that
best
party or anything.
this season.
But oh, it's funny. I had a session today,
Mhm.
and for something completely different, something new for Netflix, and as I pulled up, I'm sitting there waiting for them to let me in, and Nancy Cartwright pulls up. She's got a session at the same studio. I was like, oh, look at that.
Yeah.
But like she had to go hold the opposite way. I was gonna try to talk to her. I was like, yeah, no, it's sleep.
Yeah, wow, what an iconic, amazing show and what a great story. I'm so proud of you and so happy for you. That's
Oh, thank you.
awesome.
Thank you so much.
Now I know,
Thanks for having me on to talk about it. It's
oh
really cool.
yeah, absolutely. Been wanting to get you on for months now. I'm so glad we made it happen.
Mhm.
Um, I know that you mentioned previously have kind of mentioned a little bit about how people of color have been made as caricatures in certain different animated shows, and I just was kind of curious to hear your take on that, and where you're at these days. I know you also kind of said that, well, for voice acting it's like people can stretch into different characters, but I was curious to hear kind of how you feel about all that, the way it's been, and if it's changing and evolving.
Oh, it's definitely changing for
Mhm.
sure. Like I feel like it's getting so much better and a lot more fair, and people are more open to, like, they'll ask you, like, when I the first people to really open up and ask me about, like, hey, is this how you would say this? Like, how would you say this? How would someone living this lifestyle, how would they say this? Like,
Yeah.
was Young Justice. They were like, they were some of the first people to, like, Greg Weisman and Jamie Thomason. The team, the Brandon Vietti, those guys are great. They're so awesome. They write these characters and they try to get as close as they can to being authentic. But then when you come in, they ask you, like, hey, does this line sound weird? Does it read weird? Read it how you would read it. Whatever slang you use, as long as it's appropriate, use it there. And they're cool like that. And I'm like, that's how people should direct. That's how people should approach projects. If you're gonna have, and I think that maybe that's part of the reason why not a lot of representation in media is present or whatever, because like, people just, they write what they know, and that's why you need diverse voices in your writers room. You need diverse voices in your with your consultants and stuff. I think that needs to be out there, because it's important. If you get something wrong, not only is it could come off offensive. It more than anything, it's kind of embarrassing for the team, the creative team, because nobody wants to get it wrong. Everybody, and I feel like anybody making putting out art, media, and stuff, I feel like they all want to get it right. Everybody wants to put out good stuff, and I
Right.
feel like that's part of it. You gotta hire diverse voices, and not everybody is, even there's diversity within the communities too. Like, I'm not. I get when I first get, like, back to stand up. When I first started doing stand up, I'd come out here and I do, like, the Latino circuit, and I
Yeah.
would get, like, people would make fun of me because I'm not all, hey dog, what's up, Holmes? Like, they'd be like, oh, this is this white guy over here. I'm like, oh, no, I'm not. I'm just a different Latino. I grew up in a
Oh,
small
okay.
town, and You
Yes, I was
know,
getting flack for not being Latino enough.
yeah, it's like I'm like not hood enough, for LA or whatever. But I mean, it's weird because I had the extremes. I grew up in a predominantly white town, went to predominantly white school, but then I had like a super, the opposite with vacations, going to Mexico and being with my full Mexican family. So
Right,
in a
right.
sense, I kind of have more range. But like I said, I feel like there needs to be diversity in the writers' room, and that's the first. I think that's the first step. Diversity in the writers' room, and that will in turn help diversity in the booth and on the screen because yeah, it's I mean you got to get it right. You don't get it right, it's just more than anything, it's embarrassing. Because I've cringed sometimes when I'm in video game sessions and like, ooh, it's not a good line.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Played a lot of cartel guys in my day.
Sure. Yeah. And I mean, there definitely seems to be a shift. What do you see it shifting away in casting as well? I feel like there's a real trend for more
Yeah, I mean,
women.
I've been booking a lot of stuff just based on diversity, based
Mhm.
on like being a diverse character in the show, and it's great. I mean, it's good to book. It's good to book some stuff and to book something that you're close to. Like I booked some characters where I'm like, man, this is close. This is me, or this character is my uncle, or this character is like my dad, and it's like,
Yeah.
wow, it's really cool to get to play that stuff.
Hmm.
Yeah, so I mean, I think it's changing for the good. I think in the industry, I think it's changing for the better.
When you came on board with The Simpsons, it's such a long running show with such an iconic cast. Did you have any inhibitions about joining the cast as one of the newest members?
Yeah, I mean, I just didn't want people to be like, oh, who's this generic guy coming in, voicing Hank's role. You get these your mind goes a little nutty and
Sure.
you think, but
Yeah.
and then it's
And
just
I mean,
after,
there's always going to be in every type of situation, there'll be haters, right? I mean,
yeah,
so
yeah, but luckily I have a great sense of humor, so I can laugh at it. Like me and my buddy, this one of my really good friends, Vince Navarro. We did a video together where he did like a take, almost like Drunk History, but like a retelling of like a movie, or like a movie breakdown basically, but like drunk, and I got really plastered and it broke down, and it got
for real,
really
you
like
did?
it got a lot of really good feedback, but there was some really, really heavy haters in there, and they were just like calling me like a pumpkin head and all kinds of weird stuff. And I just was cracking up. I thought it was so funny. I was like, man, these guys are really going for it. I was like, so I mean, luckily, I can have fun with that type of stuff. I mean, because I grew up like that. We always just cracked on each other, anyways.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, sure.
but as far I did, there was pressure to get the job done and do it right. I didn't want to go in there because the first episode was just one line. I went in for one line, and I was like, oh, and we did it a lot of times. And I was like, hey, are we doing a lot of times so they have options, and so are we doing a lot of times because I'm not getting it right.
That's
But
so
I mean,
funny. I was just interviewing Brian Hull 2 weeks ago, and that was exactly the same thing he was mentioning too. When you get that redirect and that redirect and the redirect not being like, what's wrong? What am I doing wrong?
yeah, I'm like, oh man, and you just
Options.
gotta take a step back and take yourself out of that. Otherwise, it'll
Yeah.
get in your head. I've been in sessions, and like we keep redoing the line to where like I just read it in a whole way that it shouldn't even be read. I'm like, okay, and I need to go like get some coffee or something and reset because I'm reading this line wrong.
Well, now that you mentioned kind of what is your process for approaching a brand new character? If you have an audition come in, you're excited about the character. How do you start with your process?
What's funny is like that people have always talked about process throughout careers and stuff. I'm like, I don't really think I have a process, but then I started to pay attention, and I do have a process. So I think what I do is I love when they give you a picture. That's like it's like all
Hmm.
the work is done
Yeah.
because if they give you a picture, then a voice immediately comes into my head, and I usually go, that's your instinct, right?
Yep.
So you go with your instinct,
Hmm.
and that's usually pretty good. And and I usually can't. It sucks, guys, just to admit this, but once that happens, it's hard to like break out of that.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
usually just go with it. I'm like, if that's what you're going with, and that's what you're committing to, and that's where your heart keeps going to, then just do it. Because yeah, there's no. And then it's because if you're trying to find him, then if you're trying too hard to find the character, then it's probably not meant to be. If your instinct isn't the character that they want. So I usually just read the whole audition, and definitely if it's good to. I feel like casting directors, it's great when you guys give a little chunk of dialogue rather than a lot of people are super secret with their stuff and they'll just give you your stuff like
Your
this
lines.
is your character, your character, your character. It's like I don't know who they're playing off of.
You have to write the story then.
Yeah, you need context. I feel like you need the context because it's that interaction's so rich, and you can be like, oh man, this can go so many different ways. Most people I think like to do 2 or 3 takes when they send an audition. So when you do that, it's good to have that. But if not, you just I guess you use the dialogue. If there's no picture and there's no real dialogue other than your own lines, then you really just read that, and the personality is usually in there, and that personality usually fits into someone so you can use that as an inspiration, or you can jump to whatever instinct, wherever instinct takes you.
So you're very much like work from your instincts and
yeah, I've always just kind of gone with my gut and my heart and just follow those things, and just rather than really racking my brain. Than I used to. I mean, I used to really overthink things way too much. Can't do that. You just gotta go with it.
Especially not with the volume, when you're reading on a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. Luckily, stuff's a little bit more. I feel like it's more procured for me now. Like this is like, oh, Eric can do that. Eric can do that. Because in the beginning, it would just throw a bunch of stuff at you. I'm like, I don't know if I can do this.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And do you just read on everything you get, or are you?
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah, everything I get. I just try to spend a little time with it. So part of my process is also that's why I like it when they send you stuff early, like a couple days early, and it's not due the next day. Because if it's due the next day, I got to read it right there and like over and over again, and just like really take it in, quiet time, and take it in, because I like to have some time to just sit with it. You read the character like really rough, really raw, and then you just kind of sit with it for a couple of days, and you're like, okay, I can go there with it, or it kind of finds itself. You just record it, lay it down,
lay it down. Are you like a multiple taker, or you kind of like give it a few shots and?
Yeah, that's another thing. That's another thing that really changed during the lockdown, and when I started recording myself from home, auditioning from home, was when you go into CSD, or you go into your agency and you're auditioning there, you got like maybe one, maybe 2 takes, and you have to be prepared, and they don't want, there's so many people waiting, you don't want to be rude. But here, at home, you can just do as many as you want.
For better or for worse.
Yeah, and then you end up like, oh my gosh, I'll do like a bunch of, I'll try to approach it like a session. I'll do each line 3 times, 3 different ways, give different variety. And then I go back and just play it through and then pick what I like. Just whatever feels right. And then it's going to fit together, and then send it. Because early on, I started to I would be in the closet for hours. It's like I went to Narnia or something.
You're right.
I'd be in there forever. Like, what happened to Eric? He might have died in there. Yeah, I would be in there forever. I'd be in there forever. And I'm just like, oh, dude. And then I would delete something that I think I like that better. Now I gotta go back and record
it. Oh, I know. You ever accidentally delete that? One file that had like 3 different auditions on it.
Oh gosh, I know. Or your like cord or your mic gets glitchy, and then like you play it back, and it's oh no, I gotta go back and record all this stuff.
That's now. Your USB mic, dude.
You're right.
Right there.
But I keep it underground. That's what I do. Stay true to my roots.
Now I know you're also somebody was asking if they could hear your Gust Tumbleweed voice from Trollstopia.
Gus Tumbleweed. Okay. Yeah, we're still recording that one out. It's
Nice.
funny that
So
that
season
one.
3,
We're still. I think we're still on season 2,
season 2.
but we're doing pickups and stuff now, so we're still
Yeah.
in sessions. I'm trying to think. What's ask? Do they have a line they want me to read? Do they have a favorite line? Are they still here?
I don't
No.
know. What's he just have like a tagline or something he says often?
What does he say? I think the one in the first episode. Like, Holly Darling is the nicest troll in Trollstopia. Yeehaw!
Crowley, Harley. Now I want to try and like do my impression of you. Can I hear him again?
Holly Darling is the nicest troll in Trollstopia.
Harley, darling, you're the nicest troll in Trollstopia.
That's pretty close.
Coming for your job, Eric.
I know. I got A.
Just kidding.
I'll be your understudy.
I'll be your understudy. And you also work in a show called Glitch Text, which is on Netflix, really popular show on Glitch Text.
Yeah, that was such a fun show.
Are you guys done? Is it all? Is it?
There was a lot of problems with that one. We actually I think we got like shut down. Like I think they shut production down. I heard.
Really?
And 'cause I remember one of my buddies was like, "Hey man, really sorry about Glitch Text." I'm like, what happened? He's like, "They shut production down." And I was like, "What?" And so, and I mean, I was in a limited role. I was playing the main character's grandfather, like his father figure, and his dad. His dad was in prison, and like his grandfather was raising him. But yeah. So I heard that. So I wasn't in a lot. I wasn't in a ton of episodes. So I was just waiting for the call to come, and then I heard that they got shut down, and then they started up. They had it come back, and because it was originally supposed to air on Nickelodeon, I think, and then they were like, "Well, we're not going to air it on Nickelodeon, but we'll air it on Netflix." So then when they did that, then it gave it new life. So then we went back into the studio, do pickups and ADR and stuff, and then it made it to Netflix. Thank God it made it because it's such a beautiful show, like the action scenes. It's like anime style sort of, and the video game references, and they do homage to like the 80s video games, the 90s, 80s, 90s video games. And it was just really cool. It's a really cool cast. The team was great. Like Dan Milano and Eric Robles, they're the best. I mean, just working with those guys, it was super fun. So
yeah.
So when I was really bummed out when I heard about that, because I know how much hard work goes into that, and I was like, man, if this gets shelved, that's a sin. I was like, this is a great show, and it was good to see it make it, and it has a huge fan base too. And we haven't been renewed, but
my son loves that show actually.
Yeah, you never know. I mean, you never know if it could be renewed, because I mean, they killed off Young Justice and brought us back like 2-3 years later or something like that. And
can you tell us about what's like working on Young Justice?
Oh, that show was like so much fun because we recorded on Ensemble before the pandemic. Yeah, it's the best. You get to play off each other, and you're in there with like freaking legends. Like I recorded with Bill Fagerbeck from SpongeBob, and I was a huge Coach fan when I was a kid. Like I was always watching Coach. Whenever that was
I love
on.
that show too. I think
he was Dauber. He was like, and the original Stand movie, M-O-N, that spells deaf and dumb. Like, I love that guy, and I got to work with him. I worked with so many cool people on that show, and like getting to meet him and hang out with him and stuff. And that show is it's great, and there's so much depth and substance in that show because being a comic book nerd myself, these guys like put me to shame. Like there's stuff I didn't even know, like characters I never even heard of. Like, oh yeah, this guy showed up in issue number 178 in 1975. Like, wow, these guys are like geek cyclopedias. They know everything. Because I worked with Greg Weisman before for Spectacular Spider-Man. And I'd never even heard of my character. His name was Molten Man, and he was before that he was a character from like the 60s or 70s, I think. And I had to look him up.
Can you do the voice for us?
I think I just used my regular voice for that.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I did. I think I used for both of those, which that was another thing that was kind of didn't bum me out, but like it was. I guess because growing up, you never like hear the sound of your voice, and you're like, oh. And that's probably why I do so many impressions and other characters. I just wanted to
Okay.
talk like somebody else. So when I was booking these characters early on with my regular voice, I'm like, man, I want to do like I want to like do something outside of myself. I want to do crazy characters, but then I'm like, oh, okay, I guess I got a good voice. I guess I had to accept that. You know what I mean? So I guess I got a unique voice, and like I'm like, okay, cool. Now I audition more as myself a lot
Yeah.
of times. I love doing the big characters though too.
What's some of your favorite big characters that you've done?
Um, I would have to say like I really had fun doing uh my character Poppy from Glitch Text, and then and
Can you do him?
also
Will you do him for us?
he was basically he was like an amalgamation of my uncles and my dad
Uh-huh.
because he had a really big, boisterous, deep voice. Like, hey, mijo, come here. I got to tell you something. Let me give you some advice. And like, so it's just all these like people that I met growing up, all these father figure types. And I put them all together in this character, and which got me the job because Eric connected with it. He was like, oh, he's like, man, you really tapped into something there. He's reminding me of my tios. Growing up, I was like, yeah, those are my tios and my dad too, like that, and that's. The truth. There's truth in it, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, there's that. That guy was a lot of fun because
Yeah.
it's big and he was like 60 years old. I'm like, oh, get to play this older guy.
It's
Yeah,
funny
so,
because you actually have done a few older characters,
yeah,
right?
yeah. I've done like little kids and like older guys. So it's good. It's good to have my range, but like these some of these video game sessions are like, aging me up a little bit, all the screaming.
You're like, I sound 10 years older now.
I ordered a case. I ordered a case of do you know the Fred Tatasciore juice they call it?
No.
You never heard of it?
No.
It's like this Chinese cough syrup that
Oh,
you
sure.
go to,
I know. I've seen that Chinese cough syrup. Yeah.
yeah. Mm. You go to these sessions in these video games, and there's always like, oh yeah, you gotta give him some of the Fred Tatasciore stuff.
I didn't know that.
And I guess because he brings it, he just leaves it at the. Someone told me he just brings it in and leaves it there at the studio.
Oh,
and so
how generous.
So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna order some of that, and I got a bunch of throat coat, and I just like sip that after a session. So
yeah,
trying to stay young in here.
Yeah, keep it young. It is funny how the voice does change over time. When I hear stuff that I recorded 10 years ago, I'm like, I do sound a little younger. I mean, you could still go there, but like where your placement sits changes.
Exactly. Yeah, it does. Yeah.
You grow, you kind of ground more into your chest voice, I think.
Yeah, for sure. I wish I could act from my gut. Like I heard Nolan North and those guys. They really they yell from they project from their gut. I don't know how to do that anymore. Still need to learn how to do that.
Singing lessons, maybe.
I do need singing lessons.
I have a really good coach, actually.
You're a singer.
She's I just started working with Katie Riggs, who is Seth Riggs' daughter, the creator of Speech Level Singing, and she's wonderful. I'm happy to share her.
Wow.
For anybody that might be looking for singing lessons. This commercial break sponsored by Katie Riggs. That's so interesting how, as someone, Murray was just mentioning, impressions, and I so many voice actors I talk to over and over again, it's either like I got into it from theater and acting, or the impressions route, and the impressions really helps to kind of feed the characters, and they say even a bad impression can be a really great character. And so how do you approach doing your impressions?
Well, what's funny is like I don't think I'm a good impressionist. I think I'm a funny impressionist. Like I think I just do
that's so good,
and I just make them funny, right? Like I'm not very good. Like there's people, because when I started doing voiceovers, when I realized what a good impression was, and like, cause I thought doing comedy, like doing stand up, a lot of comedians do impressions, and like they're not a lot of them are good, but they're funny because they make them funny. They're characterization of the actor, so Like, yeah, I used to. I think, yeah, I used to do. I think I did Al Pacino and like, I would do Sean Connery. I would do all these
Oh my God,
impressions.
please do your Sean Connery.
Oh my gosh, I don't even know if I can do it anymore. Well, I used to do this bit. Those are my very first stand-up. My very first stand-up gig.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Very first open mic, and I was like, I'll just do I'll talk about how growing up I'm not good at talking to girls, and like I wish that I had a cool accent so that I could, you know, talk to women and like sound cool, like Sean Connery. And then I would be like, hello there, like, I noticed you standing over there by yourself. I was wondering if you weren't doing anything later. You'd like to come over to my place and check my prostate. And it got a big laugh. I was like, yeah, I did it. I'm impressive.
Prostate.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's not the best. I'm sure there's better out there, but it's always, I'll say I make them funny. I do make them funny.
That's comedy for you.
Mm-hmm.
So your first credit on IMDb is World of Warcraft, which is so funny because I also did. That was one of my first games I ever did, and I was wondering, which was it, Burning Crusade, or was it prior to that?
I think it was the panda one.
The panda one.
Yep. I think it was called something of Pandaria. I don't know.
Okay, so that was a little after. Was that something you got through your agent, or did you?
Yeah, I booked it through. I actually have a horror story about that.
Ooh.
I don't know if I should talk about it, but I'm gonna do it anyways.
You're big time now. You could.
I was returned. I was a returned item, like a store purchase that you don't like. I did a character for that because I did two characters, and I think the one on IMDb is the one you see. Yeah. And then the other one got returned. I did a whole session. Yeah, I did a whole session. Yeah. And they called Kathy, my agent, and our agent, and they were like, yeah, it's not going to work out. And I was so, like, hurt. And, like, oh, my God, I was so, like, sorry. And I was like, I'm so sorry, Kathy. I'm like, they're like, no, yeah, they just said it didn't work out. And I'm like, they played the audition for me, and I matched it exactly. I don't know if my energy wasn't right or like, I don't know.
Could have changed their mind.
Yeah, maybe they changed their mind. So I was like, I got returned. I'm a returned item. No, but I was really bummed out. And I was so bummed out about it. I was like, you know what, just tell them they don't got to pay me. You know, she's like, no, they're going to pay you. I'm like, okay. All right. I was like, I felt so bad. I didn't even want to get paid. I was so bummed out about that.
Oh,
but,
I know.
Yeah.
Everybody that's been in this business for any period of time, working in any consistent way, has been returned, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just part of it, and it doesn't mean anything about your level of skill or talent. It just might be what they were looking for, something different. So,
yeah.
But oh my God,
yeah, after that, I was like, yeah. It was weird. And another time that almost happened, didn't happen, but it almost happened. I auditioned for a voice match for Vince Vaughn. I don't do Vince Vaughn, and so and I just basically matched. You know, they give you a reference,
yeah,
and then you match what they give you, and I just matched what they gave me, and it was like all the like really low talking lines that he talks really low, and he's just ranting. It was a couple of rants.
Pretty good.
And so I booked it off that, but then he projects a ton in that movie, and it was The Watch. And he projects a ton. And I'm like, oh, and it wasn't like, it just wasn't working with the higher projection. Yeah. So like, we don't know if we're going to be able to use this. I'm like, shit, again. And it was like right after that, right after the other experience. I was like, man, this is like two in a row. But they were able to like tweak it a little bit, and it worked out. I was like, oh, thank God.
Wow, thank God.
Yeah,
I mean, do you have any advice for people dealing with rejection? I know that rejection as a performer is like its own particular thing, because it's really, they're not just rejecting your work, but in a way they're rejecting part of you.
They're rejecting your being, because you put yourself into that. as much you try to put as much as yourself into a performance as you can.
Yeah.
So like, we don't like you. We don't like what you did. We don't like you. No.
I think I'm getting worse at dealing with rejection, actually.
Are you? I'm getting so much better with it now, I feel.
Yeah.
I mean, because I've dealt with like rejection my whole life.
Yeah.
You know, in a sense, you know. But I think you just push through, you know. You find your validations where they matter most, and where they count, and you hold on to those like for dear life. And for me, it's been, you know, my family members and my close friends, and that's, you know, that's all the validation you really need. You got to look at it as it's a job, right? And it's a job. Auditions are a job. We put too much. I think we put too much of our personal selves on these on booking and stuff, and I don't think you can't really do that. You got to try, because there's been stuff, like some of the stuff that I wanted the most. I've gotten a lot of things that I wanted the most, but there's been stuff that I really, really wanted, and I didn't get it. And when you don't get it, you stew on it. Like, oh, I really wanted that. I wanted that part. It's been like, you know, I wanted to play that since I was a kid, and you can't be like that. You just got to let it go. Like, as soon as you do it, it's out of your mind, you know? It's like a Instagram story post. You let it sit in there for a little bit.
Let it go.
Gone.
Let it go.
Exactly. You just got to let that thing just disappear. Because it's not a knock on you personally. It really isn't. It's just you just weren't right. I mean, it has nothing to do. They wanted something else most of the time. It's just, and when sometimes you get to see that. Sometimes you get to see who they booked, and you're like, oh yeah, that's totally better than what I did. I don't care. So just, I guess, for people struggling with the rejection in this industry, just, don't worry about it. It's not your fault. It's not on you. You know, it's like that scene in Good Will Hunting. It's not your fault. It's not your fault. It's not your fault.
I love this. Dark Warrior Pop said, "You take the rejection, let it create a small ulcer, regroup, and move on." Yeah.
Yeah.
That's about
exactly.
Right. That's about right. Eric, so you also have tons of artwork from your drawings, funny cartoons, detailed portraits, all that on your Instagram page. Have you ever thought about making your own cartoon, like pitching your own animated series for internet or network?
Definitely. Yeah, I've been working on. It's like one of those things, right? Like, we don't know how to go about it, don't know how to get in or jump on it, or jump, you know, take the leap. So I have tons of ideas, but nothing super fleshed out to where there's like a pilot script or anything. Just tons of ideas, and I think I don't know if it's around. I have to find out. I brought it out, but I have an animation ideas book.
Ooh.
And I have a ton of like sketches, a ton of like sketches, inked, some colored, others just raw, and I write out, like, if I get a funny idea, like even if it's just a character, like. I had it was like soon after, like right before Stan Lee died, I don't know why, because he says Excelsior all the time. And so I drew like this little egg with like a Stan Lee glasses and the mustache, and his name was Excelsior. Like, stupid ideas like that. But you got to write it down. You got to put it down. You got to sketch it out, because you never know what it could turn out to be.
Yeah. Yeah. And collaboration is a great way to get into that sort of thing. Just the creative process, like, brainstorming with another writer. You know, we should meet over at the coffee shop. When I was working on a show called Poppycat, I love like that preschool kind of thing. And so I had reached out to the executive producers to see if I could pitch some ideas, and I wrote some specs, and then they ended up hiring me to write an episode. And so from there, it kind of progressed to working with a writing partner, and that made the process go just a lot quicker. And instead of stopping myself every time I would like have a question about a plot point, we would just kind of bounce off each other, and I found that to be super helpful. So maybe that's something that might be.
Yeah, I definitely got to get with some of my creative friends. Let me grab this light real quick.
Yeah.
Thing's burning out, so I'm gonna put another light up.
Oh, okay. That
but
light near your window looks good too. I don't know if you're on a tripod.
It's like a clippy thing.
Oh, was somebody Kate used to watch Poppy Cat with her son. That's awesome. I'm so glad you like that show. The episode I wrote was Snowflake Lake. I was Alma, the bunny. Oh, Poppy Cat, I just love my blue pearls. No, it's Poppy Cat, not Puppy Cat. Poppy Cat. It was
There you go. Write it down. That's a good idea. Puppy cat. A puppy and a cat they get together and that's a great idea.
Puppy Cat, yeah.
Puppy cat.
Did you get your lighting stitch?
Yeah, see, a little bit more light here.
Cool. You look great.
Thank you. You must have like your own personal stylist back there. You always look great in these things. You're always putting up these pictures. I'm like, jeez.
From the waist up, I do put on makeup for the show, which is funny because these days, it's pretty much the only time I wear makeup. And I have a ring light. Did you see my musical comedy short for Ring Light? I'll have to send it to you.
Oh no, I didn't see that yet.
People are always, people be like, your skin looks so great. I'm like, it's literally just the ring light. I mean, it's light. Light is amazing. I mean, whether it's natural light or whether it's like just lighting yourself well makes such a difference on how you feel about yourself.
Sometimes it's everything.
Sometimes it's everything. But I want to save a few minutes at the end. I know we're coming up close on an hour. Do you have a heart out, by the way, at 7 or?
No. I don't have a heart out.
I want to make sure we wrap it up a little bit. I have to pack. I have a 7 a.m. flight tomorrow.
Where are you going?
I'm actually going to go to Massachusetts to go to the Northeast Comic-Con. I'm going to be there for a few days doing a couple panels and stuff. First con.
Are they back? Are cons back?
Some of them are, yeah, the smaller ones. Comic-Cons, awesome. I got moved to November Comic-Con. I believe they're doing it Thanksgiving weekend is the plan. That is
San Diego Comic-Con?
Yes. That's what's going on. So we'll see about that, but I'm excited to, my family's also from there, so we'll get to see them a little bit, but it's early.
Yeah.
Hope I don't know.
Are you flying out of Burbank or?
No, dear Lord. How I wish.
You should fly. Burbank's the best.
They don't direct to Boston anymore. They used to, but I think the pandemic, they just had to probably cut back a lot of the flights, so. But
this is how much I hate going to LAX. Me and my buddies, we take a trip. We try to take a trip every year to go new football stadium, new team every year, right? Yeah, we do like a man trip, and we did one in Philly. And there was no direct flights to Philly, so I was like, I'm flying out of Burbank. I don't care. I connected like twice, 2-3 times. I was like,
really?
it was. I was like, I'll go through the trouble. I'll go through that trouble rather than wanting to drive to LAX. I was like, screw that.
I know. I'm kind of regretting it, but it is what it is. But I do want to save some time to have some audience questions. So guys, type your questions in the box now if you get into it, and yeah, I'll just pick, and we might not get to all of them, but just know that we love you all equally if we don't get to your question. Let's see. Okay, it's a bit general. Okay, here we go. This relates to The Simpsons and Bumblebee. What was the hardest thing about being the superhero Bumblebee?
Hardest thing was probably trying to stay true to the legacy of the character. I mean, he's a beloved character, and he's always been. I think Hank Azaria did a good job, man. But I'm glad I got the opportunity. It's kind of like a bittersweet thing, like because he had to stop playing the character, but I get to play it, so it's super bitter, super sweet, more or less. Because I just wanted to do the character justice and not make the fans hate me.
The fans love you. I mean, have you even have a lot of people been reaching out and connecting with you on social media, or is it still too new?
No, yeah, I've been getting some people reaching out. It's always cool when people reach out, because it's like when you're doing the work and you're just living your life and you're in your little bubble in your pockets, you just kind of, you don't you don't think about that, like, other people are, this is all affecting other people's lives in some sort of way. They're,
Yeah.
the fans and stuff. So it's good to get feedback and hear from them. Like, wow, because it's nice. It's nice that I don't think about it. Because if I thought about that stuff while I was going into these roles and characters and stuff, that I would probably get too nervous.
We are human beings, right? I mean,
Yeah, yeah,
we're not invincible. I really appreciate you sharing that vulnerability because I'm seeing these reoccurring themes with people whose work I really admire, that we all are at the end of the day share this same humanity and the same struggles and challenges. It's really great to see.
yeah.
So thank you for sharing that. Um, so someone is asking, what was it like to be on Star Wars Rebels?
Oh, just insane. That's another one that was just
What was
insanely
your
like
character?
surreal. I did two different characters on that one. I was the first one I did was this cadet named Oleg. They didn't even show his face. He was like in full like start with I'm sorry, stormtrooper like cadet gear,
Okay.
and he was just like being a dick the whole time to like the Ezra character. It was just like kind of being kind of a bully, like a schoolhouse bully, you know, just a jerk, and like that was fun. And then the second character I played was later on. I think it was more towards the end of the series. Was this character John or Jin? He was like a mechanic type, like laid back. It's cool because like, it's kind of like the character I would be if I was on some like ship. Actually, I'm not a very good mechanic, so that not that part, but the laid back and just taking everything, going with the flow type guy. And he was playing him was fun because that was like a meteor role. It was like that was a really fun episode of like some like this was like a ragtag group of like people that were driving a. It was I think they were out in like a transport ship and they were dropping like dropping like all these crates on ships, like basically trying to do their part for the resistance, and it was a cool episode. But it was fun, like because they record ensemble too, and getting to record with Freddie and Vanessa and all of them was super fun. D. Bradley Baker, it's seeing all these like legends work. That's huge. That's why I love recording ensemble because you get to see how other people work and like seeing how they approach things. And I mean, they make it look easy, but they did all the work previously to get into that pocket, and it's cool to see.
Thank you. That's awesome. Another really interesting question, which has been something that's been coming up a little bit more, is there was a time when voice actors were really not in the limelight. We were very much behind the scenes and not really recognized. And now there is a trend more and more, social media, TikTok, conventions, and I think more and more people from Gen X that are wanting to do voice acting and voiceovers. And so I was wondering, what do you think about that trend in voice actors sort of becoming more recognizable and being more in the spotlight? Are you pro?
I think it's cool. I mean, I feel like a lot of voice actors deserve recognition. I mean, it's not always, I mean, it's never really easy, but it's not a super easy job. People put a lot of time and effort into it. Want a little recognition, a little something, a little bit of a fan base. It's nice,
Yeah.
I think it's cool. I mean, it's weird to think anybody would be a fan of you. You know what I mean? And so it's a little
Except
weird,
for
but
your family.
yeah, exactly, right. Your family and your friends are always like there to support you, but so it's cool. I mean, I think anything like that is cool with me. It's always positive. The fans are always really cool, especially at the cons. Everybody's always supportive, and they open up. They got a little story to tell you about, like their favorite episode or the way they tell you like, oh, you did this character justice. I was a fan of this character before, and now I hear your voice when I read the comics or when anytime I see this character, I hear your voice, and that's a huge compliment.
Yeah, definitely. Um, Kate Kate had asked, she said, Gust Tumbleweed is the best character on Trollstopia. And
Thank you so much, Kate. That means a lot.
that's huge. And she asked, how much do you relate to him as a character?
Well, I did grow up in Arizona, so I wanted to be a cowboy when I was a little boy.
Did
my
you?
Mom, yeah, my mom used to say, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" I was like, "I want to be a cowboy," not knowing even what that was. I just wanted to wear a cool hat, ride a horse, and shoot guns.
Dreams come true.
Yeah, right. That's what I said. As I told my mom, I was like, "Look, Mom, I said I want to be a cowboy. Apparently, I just wanted to play one on TV." so yeah, there's definitely like I know a lot. I grew up knowing a lot of cowboys and stuff, so it's cool to get to play one. Yeah, it's just like, oh yeah, I know the Western. I grew up in the West, Southwest.
Aw, that's awesome. Let's see. Well, I guess this is a pretty simple question to answer about what voice actors do for health insurance.
Oh, yeah.
They do offer health insurance through SAG. So
Yeah,
hopefully if you
SAG
make,
offers.
I think
Yeah,
it's 30,000 a year or something. I forget exactly, but
yeah, I think they offer. It's good. It's pretty good health insurance, but it's just kind of bumming. It bums me out that there's a big controversy now with it, with the older actors getting dropped, and that's a problem. I think that's not right. I think they
hadn't heard
should.
about that.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a big thing, and I think they should, that should be remedied by our union, because it's sad, just because you're not working as much doesn't mean you don't deserve insurance.
Absolutely. Brickman Mosaic Art asks, would you rather live the celebrity life you have now, or would you rather live a more normal life?
I live a normal life. I'm not a celebrity at all. I don't feel like I don't feel like a celebrity at all. I can go anywhere and no one ever says, "Hey, you're Bobby or yeah, you're Bumblebee." So I like where I'm at now. It feels good, I mean, if I had a real celebrity life, like like freaking Will Smith or these guys, like I don't know if I could handle that, but like I think I go back and forth, and you think about that. You're like, I don't know if I'd be a good celebrity. I think I'd be too nice to my stalkers. I'd probably hang out with them. I'd probably hang out with my stalkers and stuff.
You like
you
him?
know.
Oh, hi. Come on.
Let's go
you're
get
already
some coffee.
in.
Let's go get a drink. Yeah. I'd probably be a terrible celebrity.
On me.
Yeah, but I mean, I think it would be fun. But I'm sure, yeah, there's definitely. I don't think I'm at the point to where it's detrimental to my life. So, which is cool. I like the life I have right now. I'm happy.
Oh, well, we're happy for you. Okay. Last question from the audience. If Bumblebee Man had a drink like Duff beer, what would you drink? What would be in Bumblebee's drink?
If I had a drink like Duff beer, what would it be? Oh, yeah, of course, man. If Bumblebee's drinking a drink, dude, it's got to be like a Mexican beer, man. It's got to be a Modelo or a Corona or something like that with a little salt, a little lime, maybe a little tequila in there,
We love cerveza.
Yeah, you got to do it, man. You got to season the beer, season it.
Nice michelada. Is that Mexican michelada?
Yeah, do you like micheladas?
I love micheladas.
I don't like them. I'm
like
not a fan.
They're so good.
I've had them before, and I'm like, ugh, I'm not a big fan of tomato juice. That's what it is.
Do you like spicy?
I like spicy. I like spicy a lot. Yeah, I just don't like tomato juice. I think that's what it is.
I
like tomatoes.
Pizza. I mean,
like
it's about as tomato juice as pizza is.
Yeah, I just don't like liquid tomatoes. Okay. Weird to me. Just drinking it. It's kind of like milk. I hate milk. I can't drink milk. Ugh.
Cool. Well, before we go, do you mind just saying your name and saying like you're listening to Alicyn's Wonderland, like, hey, thanks for listening, or like I really like the show, or some kind of thing, like it's Eric Lopez, do an impression, something.
So just what, like a bumper sort of
like
type
a bumper thing? Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, a little burp. Sorry, drinking coffee. Hey everybody, my name is Eric Lopez, and you are watching and or listening to Alicyn's Wonderland with my awesome, wonderful, beautiful friend, Alicyn Packard.
Thank you. Okay, Eric, one more question. If there was a song in your heart, which there is, of course, what would your song be called?
I don't know. Song in my heart. I guess it would just be called Mama, because I love my mama so much.
Oh, I love my son so much too. There is like nothing like that, right?
Yeah, there's not. I mean, honestly, I can honestly say I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for my mom. She's been the most supportive person my whole life, and it's just yeah. Oh my God, get teary eyed. You made me cry.
Told you I would. Oh,
No,
was your
yeah,
mom
it's
as
my
happy?
mom. She's the best ever. I love her. She's the. I got to take her to the Simpsons party. She got to go with me. My girlfriend did her hair with like this like 20s style, because she like 20s 30s style, like this hairdo, really cool. And it was at the Roosevelt in Hollywood, old school, like fancy party like this. I don't remember what it was for, if it was for the Treehouse of Horrors or it was like a milestone one, because it was at the Roosevelt, and I got to take my mom, and it was one of the best things ever.
Did she came out from Arizona? She still live there?
Yeah, she came out from Arizona. I think I picked her up. I might have drove to Arizona, and I brought her here with me, and I got to take her. She got to dress up and eat delicious food. She doesn't drink, so she didn't get to take advantage of the open bar. I did. But yeah, it was good. It was one of the funnest parties. Yeah, getting to take my mom.
Oh, that's amazing. Well, please thank your mom for us for
I
raising
will.
such a great guy.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure chatting with you, and we'll have to go for another walk soon or
Yeah, for sure.
get together because we're neighbors.
And I gotta come hear you play when you play again. I want to hear you. I want to hear you play and sing when you
Yeah,
do it again.
I
Let me
have not
know.
been doing much of that lately, to be
Yeah, I
honest.
figured. But
Music's fallen by the wayside, casualty of the pandemic, but let's
mhm.
hope. I'm hoping that it's coming back. I'm open to it and doing some more recording and stuff. So, but thank you, and
Thank you.
it's been a pleasure. For
Always a pleasure.
anybody that might have missed the beginning, I am going to post this to my IGTV, and you can check it out and watch it. Ad infinitum. You can just put it on repeat while you're doing dishes. And also, for anybody that hasn't already heard, Alicyn's Wonderland is also a podcast. So what we do is we rebroadcast the audio a few weeks after as a podcast. So you can check that out and stream it and subscribe anywhere you listen to podcasts. It debuted at number 23 in the US for
Really?
animation and manga. Yeah,
Awesome.
so
Congratulations.
someone's listening on Spotify as well, Amazon Music. So check it out. If sometimes I know when I'm on Instagram, my attention span on a live is not that thorough. So you can always check it out. Next week we have Max Middleton, who is an amazing voice actor. He's done a ton of anime. He was in
Did some stuff with him
Spider-Man.
before. He's a great actor. He's cool dude. Cool dude.
Great actor. So check that out. And then we have Christina V coming up the week after that. So it's been a voice actor palooza. Voice actors are just so fun to interview, but we also do interviews with animators and writers and people that work in every aspect of animation and video games. So if you're just tuning in for the first time, be sure to subscribe to this channel, and we'll catch you next time. Eric, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's a lot of fun.
Okay, I'll talk to you soon.
Okay.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everybody.